How's it going, YouTube? It's Panda time. In this video we have myself playing the yellow Gabubond deck, going up against Machinedramon with some spice. Chaosdramon is really cool and lets Machinedramon do some fun stuff. They also just revealed that in EX Collection 3, apparently Chaosdramon is like the face of that set, which is kind of cool. So I wonder what kind of support we'll get for that in the future. I start off by hard playing a Casamon, which is a terrible play it's my only play, I promise you, but it's my hand is awful, right? As you can see, I have 4 tactical retreats in my hand and like a Gabubond, so there really isn't much for me to do. This is one of the cases where, like, I was talking about this in the other video, like, you mix 2 archetypes and sometimes it fits together so well, and sometimes it's just a yikes. Alright, Jet Sylphie at least gave us some recovery. She's gonna be swinging, and hey, look at that power play. I hard drop yet another Casamon. So it's able to just Digivolve into a Machinedramon for 3. I think this play is pretty solid. Gets to use the effect from the Gabubond, which is super strong. Just discard draw 2, such a strong effect. Machinedramon obviously meant to be hard play, but you definitely can just Digivolve on it. It only costs 3. It's a pretty good card. And then by going into the Chaosdramon, he's able to get an extra source and pop my Casamon. So we're obviously in a terrible spot, right? But we're gonna see if we can find a way to turn this game around. I believe that's a TK grabbing Zoe. Might be able to finally start turning this around. I do have 6 security to work with because of the Jet Sylphie, right? So we might be able to do something, but again, as you saw, my hand is not particularly great. I guess the Gabubond effect hit into a Kari. Kari is going to operate as a regular tamer for us, basically. I still like the one card that I would cut for just another tamer. Machinedramon, pretty good from security. We get draw 2 and the body. It's actually kind of nice. And the thing about the Chaosdramon is that, like, it is pretty good after Machinedramon, but Machinedramon is like a better Digimon because he has like the protection and all this stuff, right? Chaosdramon, he just gets the pop and then he's not as scary. Obviously he's still a machine, so he still gets all the benefits from the inheritables, right? We hit into another one in security. I believe I asked him and he said he's playing 4-4, which definitely feels like a lot, but hey, that works for you. And at this point we're just going swing, right? I think the only way that we can win this game is by trying to, go super aggro. We play a Zoe, but there are no hits in security, which is kind of sad. We have Gabu, but not Matt, and it's not even the correct Gabu for the triple swing. But all I can really hope for is that, my security might be good, and we might just be able to go like hybrid spam for game, right? We obviously didn't have the greatest start, but the power of hybrids are still strong enough. Jet Sylphie is still crazy, right? So I think that is her best bet. Alright, so this play is pretty cool. I really like that. He goes 1, 2 ultimate connections, and then 3 ultimate connections. So that's a pretty good turn. Actually gets him up to 6 memory, which he's gonna be swinging first. Hits into a Gabu. But with 6 memory, he can digivolve into BT1 Omnimon. So the cool thing about the Omnimon is that, well, I mean, first of all, Chaosdramon is red, so you can Digivolve into Omni, which is cool. You get the pop on the evolution. But the effect of Omni to take a level 6 back to your hand to restand is not a once per turn effect. So because he has 2 level 6s under the stack, he can actually do this, twice the turn, which is pretty good. I love the idea of the tech. We hit into a lightning pop. He's going to clear the Betamon. It's actually going to save me there. But I mean, the Omni is pretty scary. He doesn't really get the inheritables anymore, and he didn't actually get the value of popping one of my dudes because I had nothing on the board. We hit into another Machinedramon, which is fantastic. So that's pretty good. I mean, he was swinging for like 4 checks. He tries to ice wall, but because he lost the Milky Betamon, he actually cannot ice wall me, which is definitely gonna save my behind because if he ice walls there, we definitely lose on the spot. But now that he did an ice wall, at this point we're actually in a good spot. We actually did get the mat, Machinedramon for an extra check. We have the Gabu. He puts me to 5. We go to 6 for the Gabu, but we have the Bond. We could just tuck the blocker, so you know it's not actually going to do anything. And even though it's only 2 hits, we had enough chip damage from our hybrids, and that's going to let us go for game. So that's a pretty funny game. I want to say that I love the Omnimon. Super sick. I wanted to play that back when Digimon Fusion was, you know, legal. Thought it'd be really cool Machinedramon. You can still play the Omnimon, it's just, you know, you have to kind of pass turn with it, which I guess is fine. But there's just something about... I think the game was funny because I both got super unlucky and also very lucky at the same time, right? Like card games. I think it's good to be able to acknowledge like when you won a game because luck was on your side, and also when you lost a game because you were unlucky, which is people will blame losses on their luck. Well, sometimes it's because you misplayed, right? I think if you want to grow and improve as a player, take accountability for your actions and your plays, and you'll learn from them. So in this game, my opening hand was atrocious, right? Like we had 4 tactical retreats, and I hard dropped 2 Cosmos, which is like very, very weak plays. Now, after such a horrible start, the reason we were able to bring that back is because I did get lucky at the end, right? He hit into a Lightning Paw, which saved me because I would have just died otherwise. Then hit into a Mat and the Machinedramon, which gave me just enough hits to win that game, which we were very, very behind, right? So, the duality of Digimon, you know, I got super unlucky and also super lucky, but it'd be like that. I think we made the best plays that we could have based on what my hand was. Gonna be going first. This is a pretty good opener, the classic. We have the Flower Gabu, the best Gabu, and the Mat to start us off. So, you know, this is a really good start. If you play BT6, you know this. We ensure that we get extra memory to work on extra good card draw, and then the Mat will be there for the rest of the game for us to use. So, there really cannot be a more ideal opener than this. So, even though he plays blue base, Hagurumon is still just too good, right? Machinedramon, you just definitely gotta play it. I also find it interesting that we usually see the blue base Machinedramon with the Beamon for that jamming power, but this player is opting to use Machinedramon to, you know, just slow us down. We go into a Machinedramon. I think the idea here is that if Machinedramon survives, we might be able to tactical retreat it. 5k is much more likely to survive, but against Machinedramon there's just so many level 5s, right, that like 5k wasn't gonna live anyway. You can definitely make the argument that me Digivolve into the Machinedramon was not correct, or it's a too low value play basically. But it does die. We are able to go and pick up a Casamon from security and then just Digivolve into it to pass turn. He has to hard pass, which is less than ideal for sure. And now we can start using Jet Sylphie again. So even though Jet Sylphie dies, you know, being able to get that recovery for 1 is just too strong, right? Our deck has so many cards that are just insane in security. So many tamers, so many options like Tactical Retreat. So getting the extra recovery is just super nice. And once again, we're getting that very valuable chip damage. I think that once Machinedramon is set up, it can be very hard to do damage because, you know, it's going to be blocker. It might be like 14k or something like that, right? So early on, I just try and do as much damage as I can, and then we'll try and finish the game off with the Gabubond, right? Going into another Jet Sylphie, putting us to way too much security. And at this point, it's just a matter of grinding the game out, right? Like, we have more life than he does, and we have hybrids to try and close the game out, plus the punching power from the Gabu. He swings with a 5, and it dies to a Bond of Friendship, which is actually a 20,000 Bond of Friendship because of the Zephyrmon and Zoe, so kind of funny there. But this game, things are going much better for us. He hasn't really been able to set up a Machinedramon, and as you can see from his trash, he doesn't have that many level 5s there. This is the case where like the Machinedramon is just not really doing anything, and we're just in a good spot. If he's able to get an early Machinedramon, like that's always the key, right? Has to hard drop the Metal Greymon. He does get memory back because of the on play, because he does have a tamer, but it still gives me more than enough memory. We can go into the Bond of Friendship. I can bottom deck the 5 that he had to hard play. So even if we don't win the game this turn, it really doesn't matter because now he's got no board whatsoever. And because I healed so much from the Jet Sylphie, like even though I lost the security for that, it doesn't matter, and we're still in a great spot. So Jet Sylphie swings, survives. The Bond died to an Omni. It would have been game otherwise, but like I said, it doesn't really matter. He has extra memory from the Issy and the Joe, But at this point, all he could really do is like hard play Machinedramon, which I don't even think he has at this point, right? He can go into a Grumble to try and get something started. Maybe with like Ultimate Connection, he might be able to do something, but he really just has nothing to do there. Hard drops a blocker, and that's gonna be game. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Thanks for watching.